I think we've also started to see quite a lot of posts on like Reddit and forums of young people who feel like they may not earn enough to retire and that homes are expensive and they can't afford it. Are they right to be worried?
Well, again, I can understand the concerns. It's not unique to Singapore because if you look around the world, young people have very similar concerns about jobs, retirement, housing. And I would say that objectively speaking in Singapore, in fact, we are not in a bad position. In Singapore, if you're a young person, we have an excellent education system that prepares you very well for a globally competitive environment. And survey after survey will show that. We young Singaporeans are in demand after they graduate, and they can get good jobs. Once you start working, we support you with Skills Future, and so long as you work consistently, doesn't mean that you have to work 100% of the time throughout your working life, but fairly consistently throughout working life. We have the CPF system supported by employers and the government to assure you of your basic retirement needs. And where housing is concerned, unlike many other places, we have public housing. We have HDB, which will ensure that homes remain affordable. We have a good support system in place. Yeah. It doesn't mean that all of these are perfect. We must continue to review our social support schemes, which we are through Forward Singapore. So in housing, we have now a new classification system, standard, prime, plus flats. We have enhanced housing subsidies. With Skills Future, we have done a lot more to provide resources to help Singaporeans reskill and upskill. We have the unemployment support with the job seeker support scheme. So we continue to improve and strengthen the social support mechanisms to provide assurance to all Singaporeans.
Okay, so I want to fast forward to last year's ND because I think it was very, very interesting, right? At the rally, you have taken a very obviously new direction for Singapore in terms of like welfare and redefining success. Evident by the extended parental leaves. I think that was one. I think the other was like allowances for unemployment, which I thought was quite surprising. And you've also been spearheading the Forward SG movement. What motivated this shift?
Society is changing. Our external environment is different. We are a different society, different generation, so there will be different expectations, different needs. And I think one of the main issues of our time will be how we can keep our society closely knitted, cohesive, and together. It's not unique to Singapore, this challenge, because you see this everywhere around the world. Countries are becoming more divided, more polarized. The middle ground is hollowing out, and you have extreme views pushing society in different directions. So politics becomes dysfunctional, countries become very hard to govern. We don't want that to happen in Singapore. And that's why we are proactively engaging in this Forward Singapore exercise with the real purpose of looking at how we can refresh our social compact and keep Singapore strong and united. And that means being prepared to review and reset our policies. It's not to change for the sake of change, but because it's a different circumstance, different environment, we have to be bold in reviewing our policies, and where things need to be updated, we should update them. We should not be satisfied with just the status quo. We cannot afford to just cruise along. We have to keep on changing and improving in order to address the issues of our time. That's what Forward Singapore is about, and that's why we embark on the changes we did.